Hello, and thank you for joining us. We're introducing our new MM-600. This is a machine we've carried for a year or so. The manufacturer made some changes in the first year, and unfortunately it was no longer compatible with our work. So they were kind enough to develop a whole separate program for us. So this machine is just designed for us. It has the suction put back on a side knob, whereas the change they made put it in the computer program. And it also simplified. It was too complex. You had to go through all different steps to get either through body, breast, face, whatever you were working on, then go into each one, decide which mode you wanted. Each one didn't offer all the modes. It just got very confusing. And they did add a gauge, which we did not have in our first model. We love the gauge, so they've incorporated the gauge into this new one for us. So we're very excited about this machine. It's user-friendly, it's simple, and it allows you for the first time to really designate your suction and release times. And simply, it's just awesome. So your machine is going to come like this in a plastic bag, has plastic over the top, all kinds of things. So take that plastic off, and I'm going to show you something in a minute that I do for sanitation. And then you're going to look at the sides of your machines and go, wow, this is really kind of marked up. What's up with that? There is plastic on there. Simply grab the end, take it off. And now you've got your beautiful, shiny, shiny machine. Tilt that so you can see it a little better. Now, what comes with it accessory-wise is everything you need. Nice thing is they include all of your filters, and I'll show you where those go in a minute. They also include extra gaskets and fuses. So that's awesome. The fuses are very handy. Every once in a while you might blow one, get a little power surge, you've got fuses. This is pretty much a supply for years. You really should not be changing your filter more than, once a month, once every couple of months. I change mine about every 6 months. I use fractionated coconut oil, so I don't suck a lot of stuff up into my hoses or in through the filters. So these are for you, and really nice to have all the supplies you need. Now for sanitation, what I do is I actually put a little piece right over. It attaches better if you do it this way because it'll attach to the black side really well. If you do it the other way, it won't really stick. And now I can do everything on here without contaminating my machine. You do not want to be running a wet sanitizing cloth or anything over this because you could get water into the computer itself and you'll ruin your machine. This is the simplest, easiest fix we could think of. It's wonderful. Now for the side knob here, where I've got my power, this is my suction knob. So this is, I turn it all the way forward to go all the way down, all the way back to go to super high. What I do for sanitation is I take another piece of saran and I just wind it around the knob. And now, every time I come from my client and I need to adjust my suction, I'm touching saran wrap, I'm touching a cling wrap, instead of touching the knob. So this is just a really nice way to not have to be constantly wiping your machine down and possibly getting fluids into parts that don't want fluid, especially this. So this front one is where your hose attaches, and this is where your filter is that I showed you before. Simply unscrew this. My filter just came out. You can see this is a brand new machine. Here's where that little rubber gasket goes, it's right here. So if you find you're not getting as much suction as you'd like, you might have a loose or a broken gasket. Check that first. Put your filter back in. You need to tilt your machine slightly to do that. Make sure it's all settled in there, and then screw this back in. And just give it a nice tight squeeze. You don't have to over crank it. The gasket will seal it up quite well. So on the other side of your machine, is your on and off switch. This is your fan. So if you're putting saran over the on and off or doing anything, which I do, I just use a little piece of saran to make sure I'm not touching that, because this is another one. You do not want to get cleaning fluids in around this button. It will short the button out and it'll explode. Then that's because fluid got in there. Electricity and fluid do not make good friends. And here is where you plug in. Right on the side here. So it's a very simple machine, super sturdy, great for out calls, nice and small, fits on your table, or great to put in a little case. We're looking for a carrying case for it. That's it. There's your machine, and here are your cups and accessories. You're going to get 2 each of each of these. They're awesome. These are for large muscle groups. Imagine putting this over the hammies on a big athlete, over the glutes. Really amazing for gluteal work and hip work. These fit beautifully along the sides of the hips, the lateral aspects. We also use these for breast work. So these are invaluable, these cups. You're also going to get wonderful plastic cups. These things are tough if you're a klutz like me who drops cups a lot. These are a godsend. So you get the 2 each. Remember, 2 each of all of these. You get 2 of these big mamas. These are just best ever. And all these different sizes, down to little ones that you can use for hands, feet. They're perfect. They work really, really well. This one I like a lot for scar work. It has a really unique little rim on it. You can see that. Really nice. And then you have these 2. This one has a hole on it right on the front. Well, depends on what's the front. And you use your finger to release and to create suction. This one does not have the hole. And again, incredible for the hands, the feet, the face. These 2 are the best. Now you've got these 3 cups. We used to have these in plastic, and they came as a bonus with the set, and we told people that they had sanitation issues, which they do. As these balls roll, they will bring skin cells up into the cup, which is a problem. If you took the plastic one apart to wash it, sanitize, all of that, you ended up with breakage. It just was not strong enough for that multitude of cleaning. So this one is strong enough. So to clean it, simply unscrew it. It's got a long thread, so be patient. And just make sure you keep those balls facing down. If not, you're going to have little metal balls all over your room. And now put that one down, and you also take this apart. Now the neat thing with this is it has a little rubber gasket in it, and it's also got a filter right there in the cup. That's awesome. So no more stuff going up in your hoses. And a little squeaky, they're metal. And then just put back together after you've cleaned and sanitized. And we'll talk a little bit about sanitation later, and then I'm going to do a whole video on sanitation. And just give it a good tight so it keeps suction, but don't over tighten that. Now, the other accessories that are super important are your hoses. And we've got 4 that we include. This machine only came with 3 before, and we special ordered in the ones we wanted added in, sent them to the manufacturer, and they include them in every shipment to our customers now. If not, you would not have gotten this. So you have 1 straight hose, and it comes in black. Sometimes they send red. It's always a surprise. And this is the one that fits your small cups. Well, your big cups, but your small tip. So it's got a small tip, and that goes right on there. This also works with our glass cups. So the glass cups that come with the MM-600, we also keep in stock. So if you want glass cups to work on people with fibromyalgia, more sensitive areas such as mastectomy sites, surgical sites, things like that, you can fit the glass cups right to this, and it works really well. It's nice to have 2 to choose from. Now you also, in the straight hoses, will get a bifurcated hose. So this has the two ends on it. So this also only attaches to this cup, the smaller tip. But again, this works really well with the glass cups too. And this is kind of how I keep my stuff stored in my office, is I have little hooks on the wall. They're usually a lot higher, and they're just the hooks that you can pull the tab and pull off the wall. Works really well. Now these are my favorites here. I tend to wear a lot of these around my neck while I'm working. Here's your straight hose, and this one attaches to the bigger neck cups. So you need this bigger tip to work with these. Now the nice thing is any cup on the market that you already have or that you find, I will find cups everywhere, will fit in this hose. It's a graduated little cone shape there, you can see. I'll put it in front of the black so you can see it better. So this one's great. This is the straight hose for working with one cup at a time. And then you've got the other favorite, which is the bifurcated. This is a big thrill for me. I love working with a bifurcated hose. I have clamps, and we also sell these clamps, so that if I want to clamp one off, I can work with a single and then open this clamp back up, and now I'm back to 2 cups. So I tend to like to minimize my changing of hoses and things during a treatment. So this one is fantastic. I love this hose. We'll do a whole different video too, or in addition to this one, showing you how to use the clamps on either of our machines. So this is it with your accessories, your machine. You of course got your video online course with this, and that'll give you a good foundation. At some point, come to a class, because there's nothing like that, to get the experience and to work with other practitioners and see how they're using it, because everybody's so unique. So that is introducing the machine. Next, we're going to talk about how to operate it. So I'm going to come in a little closer on the machine so you can see exactly what I'm doing, and then I will demonstrate with a bolster. Right now with COVID, I am not able to get a model, so I'm working on a bolster to show you how to use this, and it works great. The bolster doesn't have any problems, but it's doing quite well with all the treatments. So hang in there. We're going to be right back with some more information on the machine once it's turned on and how to use it. Okay, we are ready to turn our machine on and use it. As you see, I've got a little container here of 7th generation antimicrobial wipes. These are disinfecting wipes. It is the same formulation as Benefect, which is a wonderful sanitizer and disinfectant that is approved for use. When I am in an out call or I am in a class, we use this exclusively to clean the cups. It does a great job. It cleans everything out and disinfects and sanitizes. Now, when I'm in an office or in my office, I have a UVC sanitizer. So what I do is I wash my cups and then I put them in the UVC sanitizer. I usually do about an 8 to 10 minute cycle. If I have any concerns about a client, I will do a longer cycle, or I will double up and wash, then wipe, then sanitize again. So it gives us a really good way to do that. And everything goes in my cabinets. All my cups, everything clear works really well in a UVC cleaning cabinet. Even my hoses, everything goes in there. It's all clear, gets sanitized. So I don't end up having to wipe my hoses down all the time. I wipe them very often with these and then put them in the sanitizer. Please do not ever submerge your hoses in water. If you do, and you put this back on your machine, even a day or so later, you're going to suck water right into your machine, and this is going to be a huge problem. So we're going to attach to our machine. I've got my straight hose that I am using, and it has the wider end so that I can work with the plastic cups. So I'm just going to attach that right on the side here. You can see it went right on there. You don't have to force it on. It's got a nice snug fit, even if you just get a little way on. I'm going to take all of the saran off. I'm not working with a client, so I can't cross-contaminate, and I do want you to be able to see what I'm doing. So let's turn our little guy on. And this is the side button here. Turn it on. And you're sitting here looking at it saying, my machine's dead. It's not dead. It just takes a little bit to wake up. Each one is a little unique. And here's our screen here. Now tilt it up so you can see it even better. This is wonderful. We have a gauge. It is so simple, no more programs to go through of face, body, this mode, that mode. This is it. This is your screen. It will never change. So you've basically got your time at the top, and then you've got your suction and your release modes. And again, I'm working upside down. So yes, suction is the middle one, release is the bottom one. So I'm going to, usually I up my time, and you can just hold the button so it doesn't keep beeping at you. The other model, you had to keep hitting the button for beeping. It goes a maximum of 60. Here's your gauge here. This is invaluable. It gives you a readout numerically, but it also gives you the gauge. And then you're going to decide, okay, do I want straight suction or do I want a pumping mode? So I'm going to use this little cup here and just get my excess hose out of the way so you can see what we're doing. And then hit start. And I had it upside down. That is the release on the bottom and the suction on the top. So don't work your machine from upside down. So here we're on a pumping mode. This would be awesome for use with lymphatic issues, things like that, or just getting somebody used to it. This is very fast, very superficial. And you hear that little squeaking? That's the tissue of the bolster coming up into the cup. So now if I want to make a longer suction time, let's go to a 2. Now it's very short, so I can get a little more suction in there, a little stronger, and then release it. So this is just magical. You can switch this. Let's say we want to increase that up to a 1.0. And you see that your gauge is giving you a nice reading there. So this is stuff I enter into my session notes, things like that. Now, let's go ahead and get it where we can go straight suction. And here, if I want to turn my volume up, it's right here. If I want to turn it down, move it forward. And I go in very small increments. You can see this thing is really cranking here. Turn it down. Let's see if I can get a little glide on there. So now you could do a glide across your bolster or a person. I'm going to turn it up just a bit more. You see how tiny of an adjustment I made? Now I can do a little twisting movement. Or just a good glide right across. Get your suction and then do your glide. Always lifting on any of these, even on the suction and release, you're going to give a little lift. When you come off, there's a reason, there's a restriction. So probably somebody had their leg right here on this bolster and it's actually created a restriction in the bolster. That's pretty fascinating. So again, we're going to just look at our reading on our gauge. We're between 03, 04, and because I was leaning on the bolster, it was actually fluctuating a little more. Let's turn it up. You're going to see that number just keeps going up. And we are really pulling on that person or bolster right now. So that is it. Super, super, super simple. So again, straight suction, keep the release at 0. Put your suction at whatever you want, even 0.05. You're still going to get a straight suction. It doesn't matter where you set that at. Make sure you have enough time on your timer, and that's it. It's perfect. So you can create all your own suction modes. If you want to go deeper, then you're going to do, let's bring that up. And see, I didn't even have to do anything to the machine, it just adjusted itself. And there's no more of the beeping that used to be with the older model. That drove me a little bonkers in my treatment room because it was constantly beeping as I reset stuff. There's no more beeping. And I just went off to the side there. I'll keep this one in front of the camera. And you heard there wasn't any kind of, there we go. So now I know I don't have suction on this unless I hear a creaking noise of the vinyl. So this is how to use your machine. And in your video, you're going to learn all the techniques, everything. It's 2 to 3 hours of comprehensive video. But this is so you can get started. Make sure you take care of yourself. And this is so easy to do. I mean, I can reach quite a few different places on myself with the hose. They're super long. They really give you a huge length of hose. So we don't even have to bother with connectors anymore. These hoses are really nice and long. And that's it. When you want to stop, hit the start again, or the time will run out. And then just don't forget to turn your machine off. And that's it. I hope you enjoy your MM-600. Please let us know if you have any questions. We're here to help. And we love this machine. I hope you do too.